I've got the network talking to me, so let's see what's going on here. Oh, we've got a call that has come in. Seth, we've just lost Ken Adachi. I think he's rebooting, so I'll be trying to get him and see. We've got a call on the line anyway, okay. Caller, state your name, please, and where you're calling from.
Hello, Don. This is General Jeremiah. Just wanted to call and say hello again after a few weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while. How are you?
Doing fine. I didn't know if this was the appropriate time to call or what, but I thought I would say hello.
Well, yeah, we just lost our guest about a second or two before your call came in. I don't think you were responsible for it, but...
I'm sorry about that.
No, that's not your fault.
Who was your guest tonight?
We have Ken Adachi on. I'm going to try to bring him back into the call here.
I would like to say hello to Ken.
I think we've got him back. Ken, are you with us?
Back. I have no idea why I dropped out, Don.
Well, you were spreading the truth. I have a surprise for you, Ken. We have General Jeremiah, who called in on the 29th of May.
Oh, Lord.
From the United Galactic Federation. He just called in at the moment you dropped off. So.
Whoa.
Hello, Ken. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm so glad to hear from you. Thank you so much for calling tonight, General.
I'm very glad to. I've been meaning to, but time is of the essence in my work, so I have to find the appropriate time.
Thank you so much.
Well, General, I don't know if you've been listening to our show tonight, but we've been talking a bit about the fraudulent government we have in Washington, D.C., as well as the planned vaccination of billions of people around the earth. And I'm wondering how the Federation is looking at this. Obviously, they know this is going on.
I'll put out a word of warning, Don. From our investigations, this vaccination is a complete scandal, if you want to call it that. It will produce antigens in your body that you don't need, and it will produce maybe some viruses that cannot be contained. We were able to research some data and when we found out the data, then I thought I would warn you at least, and some others on the planet too.
Well, there are a bunch of people around the planet listening to the show tonight, so we appreciate the confirmation.
It's going to be very difficult for your military and your government and the government employees to reject these antidotes, but if you can in any way, please do.
Okay, you're saying that to the military,
in
other words. Okay.
Yes. Don, we have developed I will call it a serum that is combating your chemtrails that we observed from space even. This serum, it took us about 3 years to come up with an antidote for it, but we are now in the process of applying it all over around your planet. We have about 2,000 spacecraft per day flying around the planet. So hopefully this will annihilate some of the chemtrail damage that has been going on.
Has the Federation determined what the composite makeup of the average chemtrail is? We've reported certain pathogens and metals and compounds, including polymers, even nano-sized polymers, desiccated blood, anthrax, and the like. Can you confirm any of that?
Anthrax. Definitely some anthrax in it. Every country that we've observed so far has different chemicals in the chemtrails, the samples that we've taken. So it's hard to say for what exact ingredients are in the chemtrails, but the pathogens you're mentioning are there. There's various metals like beryllium, cadmium. I can't recall all the others, but I have a report on it.
We know there's aluminum, gold dust anyway.
Yeah, yes.
And I don't know all of them.
Yeah, barium is always high. Barium.
Yeah, barium is one of the mediums through which they carry this, because of it sort of acts like a surfactant in the air when it encounters humidity, and it causes sort of an environment where all of these things stay alive, or they become alive as they're introduced to the atmosphere and the changing humidity.
Hopefully we'll have that problem completely solved in a few weeks. We just started our injection into the atmosphere on about the 1st of July. So
okay.
Hopefully the things will be under control.
Ken, would you like to ask a question? I'm sure you probably have a million.
Yeah,
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, and my engineer is working on that problem, but so far if you can hear me, that's fine.
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly clear. You sound clearer than we do. So.
Yeah, you're coming.
I'm not going to take up your whole
5x5.
show. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to briefly
No,
say
please
hello.
take up the balance of the show. First, I want to thank you very much for calling in tonight. It's an enormous honor for me that you should call during an interview that I was having with Don. I want to thank you so much, and
You're very welcome.
very much appreciate what you just reported. I intuitively felt and had gotten some hints from others who have more ability than I do that we were getting some assistance through the years from friendly extraterrestrial forces in the matter of not only chemtrail neutralization but also disease proliferation. I believe you can share with us what you feel it's okay to share with, but I believe that the friendly forces played a huge role in disarming the SARS pathogen of 2004. I believe that was intended to be a big killer event, and I think the whole thing went south on them because I believe something was done perhaps on the DNA level to prevent humans from succumbing to that. Do you have any thoughts or comments on what might have been done in the past to neutralize engineered diseases such as SARS?
Yes, we have a team of scientists working constantly on this. I have about 100 men that are working on disease prevention. These are, I said men, but women and men. These people are so dedicated that I have to tell them sometimes to stop and rest. But they were effective in that 2004 event, and they're working on another one right now that's probably just as important. There is, in the plans, there are many viruses being released that they're trying to bring the population under their control through manipulation of injections and whatever. But these injections, if we can get to them in time and warn the people, then hopefully they will not be effective. But we also are in the process of neutralizing this deadly virus that's about to be released.
Can you tell us where you are located at the moment? The last time you called into the show, I know you were located in one of your major motherships over Texas. Are you above us, or are you?
I'm in a ship that's about 1,000-foot diameter right now, and we're over. Let me look at my controls. Looks like we're over Oklahoma right now. But we're at a very high altitude, 26,000 miles above the planet.
All right.
But,
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you have any bars on your phone?
No.
I have a question, General, if I may insert one here.
Yes.
Ken, I'm going to preempt this part
please.
of the show. In terms of what's going on here, as much as you can relate to us, I discern, and many others that I know that have my ability to discern things that are not on a piece of paper in black and white in front of me, that there are off-planet forces involved in what's going on here on the Earth on the dark side. That this agenda is not just the agenda of a collection of pathological liars and psychopaths intent on destroying the majority of humanity here, but that there is an outside agenda that's being fulfilled. Could you comment on that?
Well, most definitely. 3 races that we know of are participating in this takeover of the planet. They have influence and put influence in every major capital, Washington, Moscow, all the Chinese capitals of every province.
Okay. I'm hoping you're still with us because it sounded like you got cut off in mid-sentence.
They are living in our countries, and they're blending in with society, but they have major roles in the Washington politics, put it that way.
Yeah. Well,
I could
we
name some
sense
names,
that.
but I will not.
Yeah. We sense that. There are others like myself, and I can probably include Ken on that, just on the basis of his own discernment and his own studies. And this is a hotly disputed item. Of course, a lot of it has to do with the propaganda that's put out to hide this. In fact, what we see in the movies, I often say, is intended to make us think that such thoughts are only fiction or fantasy, and that you only learn about these things if you buy a $10 ticket to sit in a chair and eat popcorn for a couple of hours.
I wish I had the opportunity right now to introduce you to the wonderful people from our Galactic Federation. You know, there are so many things I could go into tonight. Let me say this: the official title is the United Galactic Federation. This galaxy, in our language, our main language, is called the Galaxy of Hendon. So we officially go by that name, the United Galactic Federation of the Galaxy of Hendon. Now, that name originated centuries, millennia ago, from a planet that was the main ruling planet at that time in this galaxy. But we're humans, just like you, blue-eyed, blonde hair, brown eyes and brown hair, black hair, a few redheads I've seen. But this is not uncommon to find aliens that have blended into societies and have taken over governments. This has been going on on this planet for like 500 years that we know of. So the Illuminati, as you call them, most of them are at least inbred with aliens or are aliens themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to give some information to you tonight that I've been holding back, but I felt like I should release it to you. You've been trying to find the real birthplace of your so-called president.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to look in Indonesia, in the province of Provinsi Bali, Propinsi, Bali, Bali. There's a city there by the name of Denpasar, Denpasar.
I've seen both of those names.
Yes, if you will search the records of that city, you will find evidence of his birth.
And I have been one of few in the world saying that Obama was born in Indonesia.
Well, you were correct.
I have been saying that.
That's a pretty large city, I think, 170-something thousand population, I believe. I can give you latitude and longitude if you need it.
Well, that would be helpful. You don't have to do it at this time.
Okay, I'll send that in a message to you then.
Okay.
But that's,
yes, there's been no doubt about that in my mind from the beginning. And it's been, as you've read my research, you know that it's been very laborious to uncover the facts. But you see, God has shown me the truth.
Right.
I give the credit to our Creator.
That's where the credit is due.
And
I have an intelligence.
Yeah,
I have an intelligence team that's been working on this for several months, and they have come up with that data for me. And they're usually not wrong what they come up with.
Okay, well, you can send me the coordinates later.
Yeah, I will.
But this is fascinating. Ken, do you want to comment or ask a follow-up question on that information?
Well, thank you for providing that. It certainly is. It's wonderful to have a precise location. Of course, Don, of all people, as well as myself, we're well aware of the fact that everything about the Obama story simply did not hold water from the beginning, and even ordinary people just working from their homes in a computer, if they're applied themselves with any sort of diligence, could have seen that there is no way that such a relatively unknown individual could have risen to such a high place and get so much funding to become the president, having only become a junior senator from Illinois just a couple of years ago. So we knew the story was false. We obviously knew the Hawaiian birth ruse was just that. And so thank you so much. Is there other areas you wanted to go into on this call?
I just wanted to give you that information since I have been monitoring too. The momentum is picking up concerning his birth and the place of his birth. So I believe it won't be long until it's exposed. And I believe you folks, you and Don, will probably be the the ones that expose it.
Well, on the basis of your intelligence organization, what do they think of my intelligence in that respect?
They are amazed at times when they see what you found with limited technology that you have, but it's very accurate, Don. Very accurate.
Well, thank them for backing me up on that and for that extra information too. That
I have one gentleman that works in my intelligence staff that's been on the plant or been in operation here for 22 years, and he is amazed at what all has happened in the last 22 years. He studies every aspect of socio-political movements and what's taking place, and there is definitely, looks to me like a move to become a socialist, communist, fascist nation.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we don't take that lightly.
No. You need to know that. Russia's in a turmoil, too, and so are other countries. But I was trying to think of other questions that you might be interested in, but those were the ones I came up with. I was on a very interesting planet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, that's all right.
Go ahead. Well, of course, I would love to, much as Jim Murray, launch into many questions on technical matters of science and so forth, but I won't go there with this call. But I'd rather just ask you more of the nature of the quality of life and the nature of the political structure on some of the other planets that members of your ship there in the crew, because I believe there's a total of 574 planets that make up the Federation, so I suppose
correct. Yes.
Many crew members come from different planets, and I'm wondering if you couldn't take just a few minutes we saw some wonderful photos that you had sent to Don of Balqui, and it looks very idyllic. I mentioned to Don that it looks very much like Switzerland based on the photos that you sent.
Yes.
So environmentally, it looks like a wonderful, clean environment to live in, but could you share a little about I presume humans are the same no matter what planet they happen to live on. I'm assuming the raising of families and schooling of children and ordinary work, jobs. And we're just terribly curious about how things such as the economy is run. Does one use a currency, for instance, on other planets as an exchange of medium, or is there some other system of exchanging goods and services, etc.?
I'll try briefly. I was on a planet about 24 hours ago. I had to go there with one of my assistants to help negotiate some trade that we've been needing, some commodities that we purchased from them, and they were a little bit reluctant to give up their commodities, but we had other commodities we could trade them that was equally important to them, so we did. The advantage of the Federation is we are it's not like a one world government. It's a loose confederation of planets, but we all have the same governmental type views and aspirations. Jesus himself visited each of these planets, and therefore they became Christians, and they became loving, godly people. Wars have stopped, and people live normal lives of happiness and peace, and they do work, the families work, they have children, they educate them in the quality schools they have. Most of the planets in the Federation are probably 1,000 years or more advanced than planet Earth. Some of the newer ones that are just coming in, I think the last one I looked at was 200 years, probably greater in technological things than you are. But the peace that you feel when you get to one of these planets is not even describable, I don't guess. We sat on a beach last night last week at another planet. I was invited to a conference by the 24 elders. These are wise, godly men that rule the Federation. There's 24 of them, just like the 24 elders in the scriptures. These men are, I cannot describe their intelligence and how they are, but some of the most kind, wonderful people I've ever met. I sat in on their meeting, and they asked me to come and be a part of it. But we held the conference on a seashore by a beautiful ocean front and a tropical paradise. And the planet there were 3 moons on this planet. You could see 2 of them were visible at night. The other one was on the opposite side of the planet. But the atmosphere is fresh air, clean air, wholesome environment. People worship, go to school, are educated, and their main goal is to raise their families and be happy.
Yes.
And the politics is not a main center theme on any of the planets that are in the Federation. They have people that rule, and not rule, but have people that are in governmental positions that work with the Federation. The currencies we've developed an electronic system of currency, so there's really not much need for cash or paper money or gold or silver either, because it's all based upon precious metals. And all the 574 planets have just about, with a few exceptions, have adopted this currency or this mode of transactions.
Now, do you have bank holidays?
Only when the president of the bank gets tired and needs to rest.
If I may interject something here, and I know about the spiritual commitment that everyone in the Federation has. Could you describe you have to some extent, at least you've alluded to the fact that these people are Christians, but could you describe their spiritual conviction and how they apply that to everyday life?
Well, basically, the 10 Commandments are the laws that rule the whole universe.